Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural edition, the pilot episode, if you will, of Tape DEK, a web series from HIT the DEK, where your heroes, myself, Gary McComiskey, the American Rhino, and my illustrious co-host,
I'm James Sajazi.
We review deck hockey highlights. I mean, I hope it seems pretty straightforward. Let us know in the comments if you like what we're doing. And for this inaugural episode, it's a special occasion. It's the first time we're doing it. And so we decided that since it is a special occasion, why not devote it to a special event hosted by a great friend of the podcast, Mr. Kevin Frost. And James, what is that event that we are covering on today's episode of Tape DEK?
That would be the 2019 RSHL Shootout, the Summer Shootout. And they do this every year. They have a couple of events that they do, and one of them being the Summer Shootout. So we decided, because it was so exciting, and the great work by Daniel Wilson of doing the play-by-play and all of the video and audio that they have on their YouTube channel, that the American Rhino thought it would be a great idea to use those clips and bring this to the Tape DEK.
So that is what we are going to do, and we are going to jump right into it. There are 4 divisions in this tournament, the C silver and gold and the B silver and gold, and the rules are very simple. 10 or 12 minute periods depending on division, and it's running time, and whoever has the most goals at the end of the game wins. And if necessary, there is a 5-minute overtime sudden death. So with that being said, let's jump right into the C Silver and check out our very first game in the C Silver division. It is the wild card game between the Wolverines and Raleigh C. Wolverines are in yellow and Raleigh is in black.
Here's an example of some good defense right there coming in. Makes a nice save and then a good clear to get that puck out of there. Here's an example of a good referee job of a non-icing as they hustle down to get to the puck. Looked like a trip, but I think he just tripped over himself.
Face-off, trying to take a quick shot right off the puck, and no, right into the goalie Bergner for a good save. And then we go to this. Following a boarding call, which occurred off-camera, we pick up with a penalty shot attempt by Raleigh. Comes in slowly, deeks, and a great save by the goalie there. That is really, I mean, good on him for staying with the play.
And there's another blocker save that was sneaky, so nice reflexes.
Wolverines on the offense again with 2 minutes left. Great save by the goalie there just to knock it away, just with the glove. And a few seconds later, another save. Wolverines still on the offense, but the Raleigh goalie is a brick wall. About a minute left, still no score. A lazy stick clear by Bergner, the Wolverines goalie. I wonder if that's going to come back to bite him later.
And the Wolverines going deep into the zone. Nice pass, quick shot, score.
Nice goal with less than a minute left to put the Wolverines up 1-0 there. Good goal by Ziegler. 10 seconds left, and Raleigh has one last chance. Coming in, empty net. Great D, and one last shot, wide, and that is going to be a win for the Wolverines. They will move on to the semifinal game, which is going to happen right around now. We actually pick up the action now with our first semifinal game. The Wolverines, who you just saw win, are going to be playing the Reapers. And we pick it up with about 8 minutes left in the game.
And here's some really good neutral zone control by the Reapers, defensively keeping the Wolverines at bay as they're trying everything they can to get into the Reapers zone.
And finally, they are able to break through. Shot, great save, tips it over the net by Story, but they're not done. The Wolverines maintain control. Another shot, cover up by Story to keep the game scoreless. Moving ahead to about 6.5 minutes left. Reapers maintain control. Hard shot from the point. Score! John Sheridan scores the first goal of the game to put the Reapers up 1-0. 5.5 remaining. Good stick save there by Bergner, the Wolverines goalie, although to me it looked more like he was fighting it off.
I'd like to get your opinion on that poke check there, American Rhino.
Well, yes, so honestly, here's my opinion. He did kind of come out and stick it away, and he was able to make the clear, but to me, it looked a little lazy. And honestly, not to jump on the guy too hard, but from what I've seen of Bergner so far in goal, a lot of his stops seem a little lazy. I don't mean that to be a shot at his physical body type, because a lot of bigger guys can move around very well, but it doesn't look like Bergner is either able or willing to do that at this juncture. What do you think?
Yeah, that's from what I've seen too. It seems to be his style that I think that Bergner is confident enough in his ability, and it's shown too where he's really good with being in the right place at the right time and going blocker or stick save or even pad save when he needs to.
All right, well, let's move on and see how the game works out for him. Currently down 1-0, but that's not an insurmountable deficit. What is going to help him here is that the Wolverines really do have a high-powered offense. Coming in here hard on a 2-on-1, hard shot, good save by Story to keep the lead. Another block, actually, there to keep it a 1-0 game. Moving on to about 3 and change left, a trip here. So the Wolverines will get a shot on the penalty shot to try and tie this thing up. Coming in, he's moving DEK. Good shot right into the breadbasket of Story to keep it a 1-0 game.
So a little after that, there's a key takeaway right there by the Reapers. Comes in alone, takes a quick shot, rebound, score. Makes it 2-0.
Yeah, you got to feel for the goalie a little bit there, because he did get caught on the breakaway, and it looks like he was in position to make the initial save, but he got lulled into opening up a shot in the 5-hole that just kind of trickled through. Wolverines will get one last shot with a minute left to do something. Shot from the point, but saved by Story in order to stop it and keep it at a 2-0 game. And that is how the game will end, with a 2-0 Reapers win. And they will move on to the finals to face the winner of the next semifinal game, which is coming up right now. And that is going to be a game between the Lucky Puckers and the Purple Paladins. I have to say, the Purple Paladins sound like something out of Legends of the Hidden Temple, which is a show that I always loved as a kid. It's like, it tickles me how I always wanted to be on that show. But no, oh well, that's not important right now. What is important is moving on to that contest, which begins right now. The Purple Paladins are taking on the Lucky Puckers. And off the face-off, the Puckers are able to maintain a little bit of control, coming into the zone to try and get some offense going, but they will not be successful. What they will do is create an opportunity where the Paladins can come out with a breakaway, hard on the net, and shot, and no! Danny McMahon is able to rob them and do a nifty little flip and catch to prevent the goal there. And Danny McMahon is not finished. He's actually just getting started. We move ahead a little bit. Another hard shot off the mask. Another stop. This guy is a brick wall. And back to work. Another shot. McMahon. He will not let it get through.
Another save. McMahon.
You know what? I am just going to sit back, and I think I'm going to enjoy some Danny McMahon, because it's a thing of beauty. He is a temple guard on these Purple Paladins.
Save by McMahon with a pad. Boysel goes wide. Boysel from the corner. Shot. Save by McMahon. Goes down on the sniper shot.
You will not get success when you're taking on Danny McMahon, I have to say. He is a goalie's goalie. And coming from a goalie, that should tell you a lot. But let's get back to the action in the temple here. 5 minutes remaining. Who's scoring first? Very well, Matthew Minosky. I take it back. Danny McMahon can be got, but it's not for lack of trying. Back to work. He wants that one back, and he's prepared to show us just how much. Stop. Danny McMahon. You're going to get tired of me saying the name. Another save by Danny McMahon. This guy is incredible.
Back on the board. Shot. Save by McMahon.
But unfortunately, right there on that play, there was a penalty. And this is, if you look here, where it occurred.
There's no doubt about that. That's a high stick.
Yep. And as we know from the rules, which we may not have explained, but as we know, a high stick in this league is cause for a penalty. You don't actually have to clip somebody with a high stick. You only have to raise it above your shoulders in order to be called for that. And as you can plainly see, that is a high stick.
Nice job zooming in there.
Yeah, if Bob Euchre was calling this, he would probably say just a bit high on that stick. So with 2 minutes left, the Lucky Puckers do get a chance to tie this thing up.
Going in slowly, looking for a hole. Deeks makes a shot, and it is denied.
Good stuff. Looks like Danny McMahon is not the only one who knows how to make a save when it counts. But I will say that when it does count, he can do that. Good stop. Butterfly gets over. Another leg pad save. Kicks back out. Comes across. Another stop by McMahon into the chest. And this man, this McMahon, is a McMahon possessed, James.
Less than a minute remaining in the game. Gretzky's office takes the pass. Shot. Score by Keith Wild. And then there's a penalty called on the Lucky Puckers for unsportsmanlike conduct by throwing the stick.
Yeah, if you can see what he does here, he bangs the stick in frustration because he knows that McMahon's been standing on his head and he let him down. Because at this point, it's very unlikely that the Puckers are going to come back and be able to tie up this game. So that is a penalty, and that is going to be a penalty shot. He's so upset about costing McMahon another goal that he puts him right back to work on this penalty shot. Purple Paladin coming in, takes the shot wide because of a sprawling Danny McMahon to just kind of put the finishing touch on this game.
And the final seconds ticking down. You cannot give up ever. And 1 second left. Lucky Puckers get on the board.
Break the shutout to cost the moral victory of a shutout, but unfortunately the actual victory in this game goes to the Purple Paladins. Unfortunately for the Lucky Puckers, very fortunate and very well earned for the Purple Paladins. But for my money, James, that's not the story of this game. The story of this game, and in fact, the subject of what I am going to hand out for the first time, what I'm going to mint as the Leonidas Award, is going to have to go to the person in this game who put in a job of work. And that is the unfortunate Lucky Puckers goalie, Danny McMahon. Sir, you may have been defeated, but you held your head high, and in defeat, you have earned the American Rhinos' respect. Congratulations for that to Danny McMahon, and congratulations to the Purple Paladins, who move on to the finals, the C Silver Division final against the Reapers. And we are going to pick that game up right now. And we do pick it up about 30 seconds into this game. Paladins back on the offense. Great stop by Story there. Getting a little aggressive coming out of his crease to dive and to jump on that one.
Purple Paladins controlling. Going to mid-deck. Takes a shot. Nice setup. Cross around. Takes the shot and a good save off the screen too, by the way.
By Story, yeah. And back to work. Quick shot, Matthew Minoski from the point, and gets it by Story. That was a sneaky little shot there that he took. A little backhand from the point that managed to make it into the net. That's a rare kind of snipe that I don't think I've seen very often.
Purple Paladins controlling again. Solid defense by the Reapers, keeping them in the corner. And now the Reapers take it back, go up deck. Goes for a pass attempt, nice D, and the shot goes in to tie it all up by Michael San Luis.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The goalie did not leave much daylight there, but San Luis was able to find a hole. And it is a tie game with 4.5 minutes remaining in the game. And at about this point, Story decides, you know what? I am not going to let this game get away from me. So he just keeps standing on his head with shot after shot. The Purple Paladins are pounding away. Another hard shot from the point. Another shot off the rebound. Story is a machine here. And if the Reapers are going to be able to win this game, it is going to be on the back of Story. Another shot, little bit of contact, incidental, doesn't let it phase him. Another dive across, and Story keeps it a 1-1 tie game. Until a minute left, the Paladins are able to go back to work, and so is Story with another great block. Off into the corner, brings it around the net, sets up, comes across, and brings it back around. And to the point, shot, glove down by Story to keep this a tie game with about 30 seconds left. But he's not done there, folks. Another shot goes a little wide. Good positioning there by Story on the post. And finally, with 10 seconds left in this game, time for one more shot to break the tie. But no, Story is once again up to the challenge, which takes us to overtime. A 5-minute overtime, sudden death. First man to score will win this game, folks. And that's not going to take long. Fresh off the face-off, we are in the Paladin zone. Hard shot, good stop, but it takes a really weird, frustrating bounce, James. Let's look at that again. So what happens here is that the shot is taken from the point, right? And the goalie is in position to make the save. And he does, in fact, make the save. But the spin on the puck takes it up and over his shoulder and his mask, drops down back behind him, and spins right into the net. The Reapers player is in position there to tuck it in, but I don't think it matters. I think it was going in anyway. And with that crazy goal, the Reapers win the C Silver final game to take the division. And that's just, I don't know. Congratulations to the Reapers. They played a great game. Both of these teams played a great game. And they deserve to be proud of themselves for that. But unfortunately, only one team can walk away with the trophy, James. And in this division, on this day, on that goal, that is going to be the Reapers. And the Reapers are your C Silver Division champions for 2019. Story is the MVP, and in my opinion, rightfully so. And with that, James, we move on to the C Gold Division, which same rule set, same time, different teams though, because our wild card game for the C Gold Division is going to be the Panthers and the Marshhounds. And we pick that up right here, right now, with a penalty, actually. The penalty is going to occur right here. It's going to be a board breaking into the zone. About 6 minutes left in this game. High breaking into the zone. And that, of course, is going to put the Panthers on their first shot with a penalty shot. Breaks in, shoots. Great save by Gitlow there to keep it a scoreless game.
And I like those sportsmanship, too, by the Panthers there. There was a nice little acknowledgement after the save was made.
Absolutely, James. But sportsmanship does not win games. What does win games? 3.5 minutes left. A hard shot and score by the Panthers. Jeremy Hoschner to put them up 1-0 with about 3.5 minutes left.
And not long after that, a 2-on-1 by the Panthers takes a shot. Rebound, score.
Which puts the Panthers up 2 goals with about 2 minutes left. Marshhounds on the attack, trying to score something, but no, denied by Hoschner.
More examples of good defense there. Non-call. And comes right back up, jumps up, makes a nice block too, because that looked like there was a perfect lane for a shot. So good defensive rebound.
1:25 left in this game, and the Marshhounds have not stopped. Hard shot from the point to try and get some kind of offense going, but to no avail. And again, with a little over a minute left, tried a one-timer, couldn't get it through, but maintained possession, kicked out. Looking for a shot, any shot, and a tricky shot, and a score! Derek Hill puts it within one with a minute left in this game, and the Marshhounds aren't done trying. Hard shot, good mask save there by Hoshner to keep it a one-goal game, and 30 seconds left. Another hard shot from the point, another save by Hoshner. Good D there to knock it away and prevent what would have been the game-tying goal. 10 seconds left in this game. One last flurry for the Marshhounds. Hard shot from up high, right into the breadbasket, knocked away by Hoshner, and that is going to win the game for the Panthers. Your final score, Panthers 2, Marshhounds 1, and the Panthers are going to the semifinals. And that semifinal game, James, that is going to be against Blue Moon, which features friend of the show, Kevin Frost, in goal. And he is keeping some distinguished company on that team because he is joined by not one, but two members of the Team USA World Championship deck hockey team, the women's team. That is Whitley Nichols and Colleen Murphy. So this should be a good game. They are the top seed going into this game. Let's see what happens. Oh, you know what? This is going to be a barn burner. And that action starts right away, just seconds into the game. Hard shot, and that's actually a goal by the Panthers. That's okay. That's okay. 10 seconds in, Kevin's still getting his feet. He's going to be able to recover. That's no problem. You know, about 30 seconds later, another hard shot and another goal. Another goal? Are you serious? Did you see that goal? That was he? What is Kevin even doing? How is I'm sorry. I can't. I just gave this man tips, James. Did he even listen to what I said? Fundamentals, James. Fundamentals. This is absurd. Was he even paying attention? Why was I wasting my... Blue Moon breaks in. Good save by the Panthers. Another good save by the Panthers. Hard shot, but another glove save by Hoshner. He's a beast. No shot in. Oh, it's stopped by Kevin Frost. Yes, yes, Kevin, I knew you could do it. Yes. Good cover. Way to recover your composure, buddy.
Play goes into the corner. Panther goes down. There is a penalty on the play, but we couldn't see what happened exactly. Play continues.
Hard shot. Good stop. Good stop by Frost. See, I told you, he's back in the groove. He's got it. He's got this thing. And what his teammates have got is a great opportunity to get within one with just under 3 minutes remaining. Shot, score! Greg Shepard gets Blue Moon within one goal.
And a minute later, they're deep into the Panthers zone. Nice pass, shot, and they tie it up.
Pratt ties the game for Blue Moon. This is a whole new ball game, folks. Blue Moon looking to do some more damage with 70 seconds left, but no. Up to the task is Hoshner, and that is going to take us to overtime. Overtime, baby. Hard shot right off the face-off. Blue Moon trying to win it, kicks it around, and nice chin up there by the referee to stay out of play. See, it's not just the players that are in shape and on point for this game.
Now here in overtime, they set up a very dangerous icing here because that could set up for something that you really don't want, especially in overtime. First team scores wins. Don't give any advantages.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was just a broken play. They were trying to do a breakout, and if that had connected, then they would have obviously been in a spot to make a great breakaway scoring chance. But unfortunately, he just went wide. She couldn't get to it, and it is an icing that sets up a face-off in the Blue Moon zone. And on that face-off, which is won by the Panthers. Hard shot. Frost dives across, kicks back out for the rebound. Frost dives back, gets in front of it, but it trickles through. Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry, Kevin. Oh, my. You did so well. You did so well on that play, my man. You deserved better. Like, look, so he dives across. It goes just wide, bounces off the post, kicks back out. Perfect position for a shot. And even still, Kevin manages to somehow to try and put himself back in position, which is what you do as a goalie. You scramble, he gets across, he gets in front of the puck, but it just hits his equipment and trickles through for the game-winning goal in overtime. Kevin, I take back everything I said, my friend. Oh, I feel your pain, and I wish better for you, but congratulations to the Panthers with the upset victory. The wild card team upsets the #1 seed, and they are moving on to the finals, but not before we get to see the Valley Vikings meet the Kings to find out who is going to face them in that game. And it doesn't take long for the action to start. 30 seconds in. Thomas Buchnevitz is standing up for the Valley Vikings. The Kings shoot and shoot and shoot, and he will not be beaten. Comes out of his crease to jump on a would-be goal and cover up. Back the other way now, 8 minutes left, and a hard collision on the shot attempt. That is not going to be a penalty. Ruled incidental contact, and we are going to continue play here once everybody gets set back up.
Valley Vikings control. Gretzky's office wraparound score. Pretty play. Nice wrist shot. And the Valley Vikings are on the board, 1-0.
7 minutes left, and moving on to 6.5 minutes left. Valley Vikings stay on the offense. Good stop, though, by the Kings goalie there to keep it a 1-goal game. And on the attempt to tie it up, we see a hard trip by the Valley Vikings. So that's going to be a delayed penalty there. Keeps going, not necessary because he shoots, he scores! Logan Staten. Logan Staten, of course, known for being the substitute commentator in the Ironman tournament early this year. But here he is the primary goal scorer for the Kings to tie up this game.
But not for long, as the Valley Vikings come back and take a shot, and they cash in Ron Carson to take back the lead.
Yeah, they did not let the grass grow on that tie game. 4.5 minutes left. We come back again on the offense by the Kings. Buchnevitz! 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 I almost wish he wasn't such a good goalie because his name is hard to say, and I have to keep saying it because he's that good.
So right here, the Valley Vikings in deep, and there is a penalty called.
Looks like
on the trip.
Yeah, looks like a trip in the crease there, James. And with 3 and change left in this game, that could wind up costing them. Comes in ever so slowly, takes the shot, scores to put the Valley Vikings up 3-1 with just under 3 minutes left in this game. That could be the nail in the coffin. Comes back, Buchnevitz will not allow the deficit to get any smaller. And finally, with less than a minute left, the icing on the cake, Valley Vikings from Gretzky's office, as you like to say, and it is going to be a 4-1 final in this game. So the Valley Vikings, backstopped by Thomas Buchnevitz, are going to meet the Panthers in the C Gold Division final. This one should be a barn burner, James. And they don't waste any time because right off the face-off, the Panthers break into the Viking zone and score! That one got by Buchnevitz. See, he's got me coming and going. Even when he doesn't make the save, I still have to say his name. Fate is a cruel mistress, James, but not just to me, because she gives and she taketh away 30 seconds later. From behind the net, tapped in, and we have a tie game by Matt Bukanevich. You think they're related? Could it possibly be?
They have to be.
One would think.
So here we go, a bad turnover, quick shot, but nice save and recovery by the Panthers.
Yeah, way to be on point there, Hoshner. Way to stay in there for your team. Keep it tied. But not for long, because at the other end, shot, save, shot, and Joe Rose, off of a very aggressive Thomas Bukanevich, is able to put in the goal to put the Panthers up 2-1.
And there was good defensive backup there too, but unfortunately the puck went off of the defenseman as well. So it's kind of like when it's going to find the way behind the net, in the net, it's going to.
You know, they say baseball is a game of inches, and deck hockey is much the same. It's also played with a ball. So, you know, round spherical focused games are games of inches, so it would seem. But there's still plenty of time left, because with 7 minutes left, Bukanevich comes way out of his goal again and makes the stop off the Panthers' shot. So you could either say he doesn't learn a lesson or he's committed to his style, James, because that man likes to stay out of his crease. We go the other way now, and Hoshner gets a little chance to put in some work off of this quick shot denied by Hoshner. And once again, with 5.5 left, we find Bukanevich playing the creases lava, because he's almost at the hash marks there. And this winds up being no goal, because not only is the net knocked off, I don't think the puck ever actually crossed the line. Well, but let's look at that again.
I definitely give credit to the defenseman on that play.
Break it down for us, James.
All right, so as you said, yeah, Bukanevich is way out, very aggressive, and now wide open net, defenseman smartly goes behind the play, tries to play goalie himself, and the momentum knocked the goal off the mooring. So I think that may have been why the puck did not go into the net.
Defenseman wearing number 2, which is a very significant number defensively here in New York, Mr. Brian Leach, Rangers great, wore that number, and I don't know if that defenseman happens to be a fan, but regardless, he is a credit to Mr. Leach on that play.
Amen to that.
And so we move on to about 4 minutes left in the Panthers zone, and a shot, a save, and that, see, here's the difference. And not to jump too hard on Bukanevich, but here's the difference between how these two goalies have been playing, Hoshner and Bukanevich. When Hoshner gets into position for this shot here, he comes out just a little bit above his crease, not unreasonably. He still takes away the shot and takes away the eye line from the shooter, if you can stop here and see that. He gives up the rebound, and he immediately scoots over back into position against the post. So even though he makes the save out high, he is not caught out, and he's able to immediately scramble back into position. And that is a very effective method of play here. Now, it's still a 2-1 game, so there's plenty of time left. Let's see if that aggressive play comes back to burn Bukanevich later, or if he's proved out. Another good stop there by Hoshner, by the way.
And the Panthers now controlling, deep in the zone, rips a shot, and man, that had a lot of action on it. And that goes in with 3 minutes remaining for the Panthers to take a commanding 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and Nick Rose scores the goal, and once again, what happens here, it's actually very interesting. I mean, look, I understand this is the style that brought you to the dance. This is what you do. But for me, when I'm in goal, if I'm in a position like playing out a lot and I'm getting burned, I am hypersensitive to that, and I am going to retreat back a little bit because it's not working. Obviously, Bukanevich has a different style of play, and again, if it works for you, it works for you, but it's not working for him in this game. Look, see here what he does on this goal. He's in the crease. He's on the post, and he sees the puck get kicked out to the point. He runs, he rushes up to be way out above his crease. Obviously, that's to take away the sight, the eye line of the net to that high shooter, but again, that has not been working for him today, and you can see he gets burned on it. It's a great shot. It's an accurate shot, but if he's a little closer in, maybe he has a little more room to stop that puck and get in the way. But now it's 3-1 Panthers with 2 minutes left. We find Buchnevich out of his crease again, and this time he has the benefit of some great defense to back him up there. Let's take a look at that again.
And again, maybe the defensemen know that. They know his style, so they always have to back up the play properly. But number 6 was Johnny on the spot right there to make sure that that puck did not go in, because had he not been there and had his stick on it, that was a goal.
Absolutely. It was trickling across the goal line. Panthers player, just eyes watering at the opportunity to make it even a larger deficit. But fortunately for the Valley Vikings, number 6 able to kick it out and no damage done there. But it's still a 2-goal game with 2 minutes left. If the Vikings want to be able to come back and win this game, they are going to have to make something happen quick. But again, the Panthers go back to work. 2 minutes left. A good shot. An aggressive Buchnevich. And another Panthers goal to make it 4-1. I mean, you know, it's almost clockwork at this point, the way it happens. Less than a minute left. Panthers find themselves again in the zone. Buchnevich is not only able to stand up to the initial shot, but also contact. But unfortunately, a really weird bounce, and the goal trickles in over, it looks like, over Buchnevich's stick, and that is going to be a 5-1 game with less than a minute left.
And really, credit to Dan Martin there, too, for following up on the play. The defenseman's stick was even taken out of his hand, so Martin had to go deal with that, go through the crease, get the rebound, and jump over the goalie, and still stuff it home for a goal.
Yeah, good heads-up play there. But the game is not over yet. 30 seconds left in this game. Vikings break in, hard shot, stopped and kicked out by Hoschner to seal this one. The final of the Seagull division. Panthers 5, Valley Vikings 1. And I know I'm biased, James, but for me, the story of this game has to be the tale of two goalies. Two styles. And for one, it worked, and for another, it didn't. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Well, as you were saying, though, too, we're not looking to beat up on Buchnevich here.
No,
we're just
absolutely.
talking about the styles here. It did get him that far, and it was successful, and this was the final. So, as you said, maybe if you're used to playing a certain way, you stick with it, or if you can change on the fly, so to speak, and adjust your way. But again, I think it's more of a credit to the Panthers, because they were fast, they had good stick handlers, and they never quit on the play either. So there was a lot of rebounds, good passing, and with the aggressiveness of Buchnevich, it kind of maybe was the perfect storm for the Panthers.
Absolutely, and you have to remember that this Panthers team was a bit of a Cinderella story in this whole tournament. They came in as the wild card seed, and not only did they run all the way through the number 1 seed to the finals, but they were able to turn it on against a goalie that prior to that point had been very good.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes you just get caught up in that hurricane, and the tornado hits you and it uproots your entire deal and you're not able to recover. And I think that's what happened to Buchnevich here in this final game. Credit to the Panthers for putting through a great tournament and proving that it doesn't matter where you're seated. You can always push through from the bottom, and you can always win as long as you can score those goals.
And they were tested, too. They had a great team to get across with Blue Moon. They went to overtime and pulled that victory out. Even with the Marshhounds, it was a tight 2-1 game, and then getting all the way to the finals and pulling it off. And again, great credit to Hoschner as well. Excellent goalie, great team effort, so well done by the Panthers, and deservedly so for the win.
Absolutely. And that's going to do it for the C Division. So it's time to move on now, James. Move onward and upward to one letter higher in the alphabet. We move to the B Division, where the competition is just a little bit stiffer, and the times of these games are just a little bit longer. We move from 10 to 12-minute periods All other rules apply, as have been throughout the tournament so far. So we start off the silver division. There are no wild cards in this division. We jump right into our first semifinal game, and that is going to be Team John Scott versus the Ice Holes. An Ice Holes team, James, who had to find an emergency substitute goalie. Their goalie that they had brought had taken lame earlier in the tournament, and they had to press into service an emergency backup goalie, and that goalie is Logan Staten. Logan Staten, you may remember, scored the lone goal for the Kings earlier in the C Division, and Logan Staten, who was pressed into service as a substitute commentator for the Ironman tournament, which happened earlier this year. So once again, he finds himself as a substitute goalie this time, taking on Team John Scott. And we pick it up a minute in where that very same Logan Staten is being put to the test. Hard shot by Team John Scott, save by Logan Staten to keep it scoreless. And a short time later, another hard shot, another stop by Staten.
And another good example of good sportsmanship, too.
Yep. Hard, aggressive poke check there by Baskog for Team John Scott.
And the defense was up to the task, too, as they realized how far out their goalie was, so you had to make up for it.
Yeah, good clear there by Team John Scott, and an unfortunate, looks like an injury on the play. There is one of the Ice Holes down. Let's take a look at how that injury occurred, James.
So yeah, they go hard into the boards there. It looked to me that the Ice Hole player inadvertently stepped on the stick of the John Scott player and then went down. But there was a good replay there to show exactly what happened.
There was no penalty called on that play, it is of note. So it was ruled incidental, whatever happened. But regardless, we move on to about 2.5 minutes into the game. Hard shot, Ice Holes on the offense, and good positioning by Baskog to fight it off. About a minute later, Ice Holes once again on the offense for a break, 2-on-1. Hard shot and a score by David Lane to put the Ice Holes up 1-0 with a lot of time left in this game. John Scott coming back the other way, though, with their own 2-on-1, and a good save by Logan Staten to keep his team up 1-0. And James, there is a penalty here on this play, and let's take a close look at it, because at first glance, it's a little hard to see where that might have occurred.
Yeah, Team John Scott, they're battling for the puck there on the right side, and at first it looks like maybe there's a high stick infringement by Ice Holes, but then as you let the play continue there, it looks like that the Team John Scott player maybe slashes, comes down quickly as the puck gets away, and right there, that could be a slash or a hook or something like that, because right when that occurred is when you see the referee is looking right at the play, and then soon after that, he puts his arm up and calls the penalty.
Yeah, to me, it looks like a hook. I wouldn't stake my house on it, but if, gun to my head, I think that is a hooking call right there. You know what, James? You know what it reminds me of is that meme, that internet meme where the guy is with his girlfriend and he's kind of looking back at another woman. This is what it reminds me of. The referee, he's got that kind of look on his face, like, oh my, what have we here? Let me put up my arm for a penalty. Oh my, and I know. I'm sorry. I have no filter, but this is what I think of. This is what goes through my head. I'm a silly person, but anyway, regardless. So the penalty was called, and so that means that the Ice Holes get a chance to improve their lead. So Garrett Riley comes in, shoots, scores, and he does. He pads it out. It is now a 2-0 lead with about 6 minutes left in this game.
So Team John Scott takes a shot, takes a carom, and then a player goes down hard. But it looks like that will be called as a tripping penalty.
One good trip deserves another, James. So John Scott now has an opportunity, shoots and scores! Kevin Durst converts on the penalty shot to make it once again a 1-goal deficit. And so with about 4 minutes left, it's a 1-goal game. John Scott continues pressing, Shot high from the point. Logan Staten hangs in off of a screen and is able to bat it away with his stick. Ice Holes turn around for the offense now. Dive by Baskog to clear it out. And then a few seconds later, back into the John Scott zone with a sequence of shots on Logan Staten, who is able to stand up and keep it a 1-goal game.
Coming up on the left side is Mr. Kevin Durst. He takes the shot, scores, and ties it up with 1.5 minutes left in the game.
90 seconds left, and this is a whole new game, James. Pushing ahead, 1 minute and about 30 seconds left. Baskog has to fight to clear his crease and see that blocked shot, and another high one from the point. This one makes it through. Great stop by Baskog to keep it tied. Rush now the other way. Ice Holes have a 2-on-0. Pass across and misses it. He missed the net with an opportunity to take the lead with 20 seconds left, but he cannot. He cannot get it done, and so we are headed back to overtime, James. Now, just to remind you, it is sudden death overtime, 5-minute period, and first team to score will advance. So the first team to try will be John Scott. 2-on-1, shoots, great stop there by Logan Staten. Action in the other end now as the Ice Holes take over. Hard shot from the point, and Baskog is able to stand in to keep the game going. Another shot by the Ice Holes. Great stop, great follow, rebound shot by Staten. Oh my. Wow, that would have been the game in overtime, and Logan Staten, backup though he may be, emergency substitute goalie though he may be, is able to stand in there like a pro and keep his game in it in overtime.
And here come the Ice Holes. Gretzky's office wraparound shot, rebound, score, and they win the game in overtime.
James, did that go off of the John Scott defenseman's stick there?
Yeah, it looked like it did, and that's not a knock on the defenseman at all. He was just trying to bail out his goalie, help out a little bit, and trailing the play. That's what a wraparound does. You know, you try and either take the shot on goal, or as it got away a little bit there on the wraparound attempt and went in front of the crease right by the slot, and then excellent trail by the Ice Hole teammate to rip it home. But I do think that once you watch the initial play here, rolls off his stick, goes to the point. I don't know if that was a pass, but if it was or wasn't, it just worked out perfectly. He rips the shot, and there it is. It's a goal. So, no, I don't think that it ended up batting off of anybody, as a matter of fact.
James, the amazing thing here is that this is a broken play. Unless I'm mistaken, and I could be, it's possible that the Ice Holes player there saw his player charging in and gave up on the wraparound attempt for the pass. But it looks to me like he tried to do the wraparound and it slipped off of his stick while he was bringing it around and wound up as a picture perfect pass to the game-winning goal. The sad thing is Baskog played that exactly right and he got burned because of it. That's, it's like we were saying in the C Division games. It's a game, it's a game of inches. If that puck comes off of the stick correctly, then that's probably a save. Either he covers or he kicks it out. Eventually, maybe it leads to a goal, but I don't, it's just a crazy thing. But another fluky goal that winds up winning the game in overtime for the Ice Holes. The final score, Ice Holes 3, Team John Scott 2. So the Ice Holes will advance to the final game in this division, but not before we go to the other semifinal game, which is going to be the Panthers. Again, the return of the Panthers, James. The Panthers against Harambe. And an old friend we get to see come back again, and that is Danny McMahon, who is in goal this time for the Panthers. So we've seen the Panthers before, we've seen Danny McMahon before, but we have not seen them joined up. Two great tastes that taste great together, James. So let's go straight to the action, and let's see how things shake out in this matchup. Hard shot. Seconds into the game, but Danny McMahon back up to his old tricks, gloves it down, and is not to be beaten.
So here comes a slap shot attempt. Good defensive play to make sure that it doesn't go through.
Moving on to 10 minutes left. Harambe kicks it out high, one-timer, hard shot, and a save by Danny McMahon. How many times have I said that? About a minute later, moving into the other end, Panthers on the attack, breaking in, and a great save by Connor Manning. Rebound, cuts across, and stops it again! Oh, wow. That was an incredible save, incredible reaction. Way to stay with the puck, sir. Way to cover up and keep your team scoreless. Manning's not done, though, because we have another high shot by the Panthers, and another save, and another save, and another save by Connor Manning on really a tricky little pass and shot. Connor Manning brought his game face today, I tell you what. Harambe turning around with their own chance to score. Back in the Panthers zone, and a good glove stop by Danny McMahon to deny him. 6.5 minutes left. Panthers come through. Oh, missed the open net. He got by Connor Manning, but he could not slip it in. Instead, it rolls through the crease. That is a chance that he's going to want back.
Here come the Panthers on a 2-on-0 breakaway. Takes a shot and stuffs it home for a 1-0 lead.
So 5 minutes left, down a goal. Harambe comes in for some offense of their own. High, hard shot off the mask by McMahon. Harambe doesn't let up, brings it around out front. Another great save by McMahon, and another little scrum out in front of the net. Oh man, that could get ugly, but everybody realizes that it's just a game and walks away, except, you know, James, maybe not, because I want to take a look at that again. So McMahon makes the stop, and the Harambe player decides to take a little extra whack at him because, you know, it's hockey. Panthers player takes exception to that, but he's not the only one. We zoom in here to the Harambe bench, and this guy just jumps off the bench to try to become third man into this fight. Fortunately, one of his teammates is able to restrain him. He is not able to make it back, and he has to jump back onto the bench. So nothing comes of it. But, James, for that action, I am going to award Robbie Washington, the Harambe player in question, that guy. Robbie Washington is that guy of this tournament. And as we know here on Hit the Deck, as we say all the time, it's deck hockey. Don't be that guy. Don't be Robbie Washington. Come on, it's just a game. Tensions get high, but let cooler heads prevail.
And big assist to his teammate there for single-handedly restraining him and basically yanking him back on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know how they deal with this type of situation in the RSHL, but it's a safe bet, or at least a good chance, that if Robbie Washington had made it down to the scrum there, Robbie Washington would no longer be playing in this tournament. I think that's how a lot of leagues would handle it. So, you know, it would probably result in a penalty for his team for an unsportsmanlike. I think mystery player on the Harambe bench really saved his team there. That was a great heads up play by you, guy, whoever you may be. You are not that guy. Don't be that guy. Be that guy. Mixed messages, American Rhino. What are you doing? I really don't know what I'm doing. I do know that we should move on to the rest of the action because there's plenty of game left to play in this semifinal match. So let's move ahead to 4.5 minutes left in this game.
The Panthers, they have a 2-on-2 situation here, deep into the Harambe zone, makes a nice centering pass, and they convert to make it 2-0 on a Matt Corey goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that deflected off of somebody or if the Panthers, looks like the Panthers player was just able to get his stick in and tuck it in past Connor Manning. But good job by both teams there. And the Panthers, in fact, come out on the better end of that one. 2-0 Panthers is currently the score as we continue on to about 2.5 minutes left where Harambe gets some offense. Takes a hard shot. Good stop by Danny McMahon and good D by the defenseman to try and prevent the shot. 2 minutes remaining. Panthers looking to pile on. Comes around the net, shoots, and a good heads-up stop by Manning. Minute left, and Harambe looking to make something happen, but Danny McMahon says, no thank you, sir. Moving on, 20 seconds left, last chance at any kind of offense for Harambe. One last wraparound shot, and one last time, Danny McMahon standing on his head to keep this a 2-0 shutout. So Panthers, once again, will advance in this B Silver Division semifinal game, and the Panthers will meet the Ice Holes in the B Silver Division Finals. A finals matchup that will see the Ice Holes Logan Staten taking on the Panthers Danny McMahon in goal. Based on their performances previously in this tournament, James, I fully expect this to be a 1-0 game resolved in overtime. So I can't wait to see this one. This is one that I have circled here on the tournament sheet. And we kick things off about a minute in with the Ice Holes coming in. Good solid stop by McMahon. And the Panthers take over with a little offense of their own and a great stop by Logan Staten. Excellent. Excellent. Just how I planned this out so far. Panthers come in for a rush. Good stop by Logan Staten.
And now the Ice Holes control. Neutral zone, taking it in the zone. A breakaway of their own, it looks like. Takes the shot, rips it in, and scores to open up the scoring here in this final. And Matt Barlow gets the Ice Holes on the board and take the lead 1-0.
Yes, sir. Moving on to about 10 minutes left in this game. And it looks like there's a boarding penalty just off screen. The referee has his arm up. Play continues on the delayed penalty. Panthers shot and Staten with a save. Rebound. Oh, and the Panthers play off the side of the net. Cannot stuff it in. And that is going to be a penalty shot. Oh my. Oh my. To quote a famous Star Trek helmsman. So the Panthers come back on their penalty shot attempt. Comes into the zone very slowly. Shoot high. Misses the net on what would have been a tying goal. But nevertheless, they press on. Another offensive chance. Shot high. Glove down by Logan Staten.
So here's a bad turnover. Ice Holes still staying deep in the Panther zone. Control the puck. Try to go for a wraparound. No good. Still stays in Gretzky's office, finds the open man, takes a shot and score! Matt Barlow with his second of the day. And that gives the Ice Holes a 2-0 lead with 7.5 remaining in the game.
So the Panthers win the faceoff, come in hard, and we have a trip, it looks like. I don't know, James. Was that a tripping call or was that incidental contact there?
To me, it looks like it was more the Panther player trying to anticipate being hit, and I think he was leaning a little bit too much into the Ice Hole player, and the Ice Hole player is completely innocent there. He didn't do anything to try and knock over the Panther player, so I think maybe in the Panthers player momentum and the back of his mind, probably bracing himself a little bit, and I think that he just went over a little too hard.
All right. But nevertheless, the Ice Holes have a hard break-in, hard shot, and stopped by Danny McMahon. But there is a penalty on the play. It's a delayed penalty, high shot, and into the corner, and another penalty on the play, on the delayed penalty call. So that's going to be offsetting. And players getting a little chippy, yapping at the official there.
Well, the initial play, I don't know, maybe it was a slash or whatever the case was. I couldn't really see what happened there that the Panthers had to were given a penalty.
Let's take a look at that. So we go back, and it looks like there's a little bit of a slash here on this play, and the referee's arm goes up. So we're going to call that one a slash by the Panthers player to kick this off. But then after that, play continues. This is a delayed penalty, and so the Ice Holes maintain possession long enough to kick it out to the point, take a hard shot wide of the net, goes over the net, and then here, if you want to stop it, we have what looks like a boarding penalty.
To me, from this angle, absolutely. It looked like the Ice Hole player pushed the Panther into the boards. I don't know if he's overreacting a little bit there or if it was indeed something from frustration from the previous play when they were called for the penalty. But either way, they were far enough away from the boards, and that was a clear push by the Ice Hole player, propelling the Panther into the board.
And it also, it would seem, propelled the Panther player up off of the deck and straight over to the official. He is not happy about that penalty. And it sounds like it has been called a penalty, so I don't know what he's barking about, but he is definitely going to get his shot at the goalie off of that one, I would say.
Yeah, maybe it was just a confusion if the referee might have accidentally said Panthers instead of Ice Hole or whatever the case was, because when, that Panther player popped up, he was really fuming.
He was livid, yeah. So we go, since it is offsetting penalties, it will be rewarded in the order that the penalties occurred, and so the Ice Holes will get their first chance at their penalty shot. Comes in, shot, good stop by Danny McMahon.
That's a save by McMahon, and now the...
But it looks like, and this is something that I thought I picked up on earlier, it looks like the Ice Holes are going to get another shot for unsportsmanlike. I think that's, if we go back and listen, I think that's what the call was. Although it looks like the officials do not necessarily agree on this course of action, because there is a little bit of a conference there. Let's go back and take a look at that again. So obviously we know that it happens. The Panthers official comes up. He will not stop yapping at the official.
Understandably so, though, especially if you're playing deck hockey and there's no checking and stuff like that. I mean, boarding is dangerous no matter what. So he was close enough to the boards, and maybe he was still a little bit hot, again, assuming that, knowing that they were already called for a penalty, and then maybe he felt a little bit injustice there on top of everything else. I don't know, just pure speculation.
Sure, but to me, you have to let the system work. I mean, you have to, at this point, your team is going to be getting a penalty shot. And if the official warns you to stop barking, you have to stop barking. You're only going to make it worse for yourself if you continue. And I think it sounds like that's what happened here. But actually, I'm not sure if that is the case, because since these officials are having a little powwow here over what happened, it may not actually come out that way.
Well, definitely number 16 referee was the one that was in the middle of all of the action. So now I think he's just explaining to the other ref what really happened and why the Panthers should be getting their penalty shot.
But in fact, it shakes out such that there will be no second penalty shot for the Ice Holes. The unsportsmanlike was waved off, and we go straight to the Panthers' attempt at getting one goal back here on this thing. Takes a shot, and a save! A good save by Logan Staten to keep this a 2-0 game. So all that, James, and the result is absolutely no change of any form or fashion. I can't.
But to the RSHL refs, to their credit, at least they got it right. They spoke to one another, they conversed, and made sure that everything was okay. And cooler heads prevailed, too, for both the Panthers and the Ice Holes. So I think all in all, it worked out well.
Absolutely. But that is definitely something I think I want to circle back with later if we have a chance to get a little clarification on that. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we're playing a game here. So we'll pick it back up at about the halfway mark.
Ice Holes now control, takes a dangerous pass. It's cut off by the Panther, takes a shot, and he scores. And that makes it now 2-1. So Winton Heinley, Johnny on the spot, gets the Panthers on in this final.
Now, I do think it's interesting, James, and I get it. It's hockey. You have to have set rules. But it seems like high sticking, absolutely not under any circumstances can you raise your stick. But if you want to reach up and glove down that puck as high as you can, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, he jumped up, made the catch, didn't pass it to anybody, put it down, and got the shot off. So really well done.
It's a completely legal play. I just think that in some cases, the difference between one thing and the other thing seems almost negligible. But we continue.
Well, I think in this case, when the stick is up, that could be dangerous.
Sure, I get it. It's just a little funny to me. But regardless, 4.5 minutes left, 2-1 ice holes, and the Panthers have a chance to tie this thing up, come around the net, and score! It is a tie game on a beautiful goal by Ethan Pinto, converting on the kick out from behind the net, one-timer shoot score. And it is a whole new ball game, as they say here, James. But that may not last for long, because with about 3:40 left, the Ice Holes are able to break three, cut across, and shot score! With a one-timer to go back up ahead, 3-2.
Yeah, Barone was just left all alone. Nice pass and nice conversion to get that lead back.
Absolutely. Just a few seconds later, Staten gets put to the test to try and hold that lead. Good high stop there. And another shot, another stop by Staten. Kicking ahead to just over a minute left. Panthers looking to tie this thing up. Rush, 2-0. Shot, roll over and stopped by Staten, but it's not over yet. He sets back up and he gets back in position for that follow-up shot. James, not only was this an incredible save, for me, the initial save was fantastic. He's fantastic, but is not the only thing. It is not the most noteworthy thing about this play. Here, take a look at this one again. So obviously he makes the acrobatic pad save to roll over and kick it up. He thinks he's going down, but he hedges his bets to bring up the pad, stop it, puck gets kicked off, and he rolls over, and he sees the puck is still in play, and he immediately hops back in position to make another save. Now that shot would not come due to great defense by the Ice Holes players on his team, but if it came, he would have been there to make it. That, to me, that is the difference between a game-winning and a game-losing goalie. Right there. That is a big game play right there.
But the game's still not over yet, and down goes an Ice Hole player. I guess it was just incidental because there is no penalty called on the play, but play does stop with 40 seconds remaining, and here is the replay to see exactly what happened in this final. So just looked like incidental. That's the real problem, and that's why the Ice Hole player stayed down. Getting run into
the
by
head.
That's,
you have to worry about concussions there. That's definitely a scary moment, but fortunately it looks like that Ice Hole player is okay. So we are clear to continue. And with 30 seconds left, we do continue with the Panthers trying desperately to tie this thing up. But no, Logan Staten, Johnny on the spot, stopping it, holding the line, the goal line. Will not allow that tying goal. Another stop, and an incredible defensive play right there at the end.
That's what teamwork's all about. This is the final. You're going into the last 10 seconds of the game. You're down by a goal, and all hands on deck at this point. So excellent, fantastic job in net. And then, yes, absolutely, by the defenseman as well. Diving two defensemen in that aspect for the Ice Holes, try and help out their excellent goalie in Logan Staten and keep the puck out somehow, some way. Great pressure by the Panthers. They know exactly what's on the line right now. Crashing the net, two men in, as even and as good a play as you could possibly get with the game on the line, the championship on the line.
Absolutely. This is 12 seconds left and the tying goal. That defenseman is the difference between a B Silver championship and overtime. Right there. So I don't know who that is. I don't have access to the Ice Holes roster, but that guy saved the game right there.
And again, just want to point out another really good bit of good sportsmanship right there. Panther, Ice Hole player down in the net and helping each other up and kind of giving like a, well done to both ends.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, that's great sportsmanship. And that's what deck hockey is all about. Because even though you're fighting tooth and nail in the game, it is just a game. And you have to respect one another in that case.
And it did get chippy before, too. So that was nice to see.
Absolutely. But 10 seconds left. Game's not quite over. Face-off won by the Ice Holes. Empty net. David Lane goes down and seals the deal to make it a 4-2 championship win by the Ice Holes. James, that margin is larger than the actual game indicated, but good on them for not giving up and just finishing out the game. And good on the Panthers for a very well-played game. For my money, this is the best game we've seen in this tournament so far. This may be the highlight of the entire thing. For me, at least, so far, I would say it is.
And absolutely, and pardon me for stepping in your crease here.
No, absolutely.
Logan Staten and Danny McMahon, both goalies for the Ice Holes, for the Panthers. Excellent, excellent jobs on both ends. They are the reasons exactly why the game was so tight. And as you said, that 4-2 score doesn't tell a story because the saves were coming fast and furious from both goalies, keeping their teams in this great game. Highly contested, well done, and this is what deck hockey is all about.
Absolutely. So even though it's not the final score that I predicted, it was the game that I expected, with highlight reel plays on both ends of the deck throughout the whole game. Credit to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. There's only one winner, but credit to both teams for playing that game. That is what I came here for. And even though it will be hard to come down off of that high, there is still plenty of tournament left to play, because now we go to the B-Gold division and we go to Gangrene versus the Wolverines. B-Gold, the highest possible bracket in this tournament because there was no A division. So this is the creme de la creme in this tournament. And the semifinal game in this Gangrene and Wolverines, let's see if that can live up to the same hype that we've just seen from that previous division. And we start that off with a quick shot and a good face mask save by Hodgner.
On the left side, Gangrene controls, gets the pass, goes in deep, picks the backhand shot, and it's in for a goal. And they are up 1-0. Nick Cassetta of Gangrene. Nice, pretty setup and finish.
Very pretty. Way to get around the goalie and a snipe, a really bad angle snipe to kick off the scoring for Gangrene. But they're not done yet, because just a little while later, Gangrene gets the face-off, kicks it out to the point, hard shot, score! Hodgner never even saw that puck. He was screened a couple of ways over, and Paul Peterson puts Gangrene up 2-0 with 7.5 left to play. Gangrene maintaining the pressure as we kick ahead just a little bit with a good cross and a good block by Hodgner. Oh, he had to be in position. He reached hard to stop that one, and he did. But the pressure keeps coming for Gangrene. Kicked out in front, but there's a penalty on the play. Could not quite tell what that was. Looked like maybe a boarding that occurred off screen, but let's assume that something happened because we get a penalty shot for Gangrene. A chance to pad their lead with 5 minutes left. Comes in hard, good shot, good stop by Hodgner.
We go to a face-off in the Wolverine zone, won by Gangrene, takes a shot, save. Wolverines now control, looking for an open man, cross-deck pass. They go up, a nice pickpocket by Gangrene, takes the shot. It was blocked, goes over again, they cycle around, take another shot, rebound, score! And what a play by Gangrene, keeping it in the zone and getting that shot.
Absolutely, these guys do not stop. They just, man, you're right, absolutely, James. Great job by Gangrene to not give up on that play and not quit until they have a goal out of that. Good job by Hodgner for staying in there, but if your defense can't support you by the third or fourth save, you're going to pay.
Gangrene controls again. They go deep into the Wolverine zone, looking for a shot. Taken away. They're battling for it in the corner. Comes from another side. Looks for an open man. Finds at the top of the slot. Good cycling, passing, and he takes the shot backhand, and it goes in off of a Wolverine defenseman.
Yeah, I mean, tough break there for Hodgner. He did everything he needed to do. He kept his positioning, and Gangrene kept trying to deke around him. He wouldn't let it happen. But, you know, the Gangrene comes around, and he gets caught out of position. And even though his defenseman tries to bail him out, unfortunately, looks like the defenseman catches a puck in the face, maybe? I can't quite tell.
Yeah, what it looks like is, Gary, thank you so much for this great technology, by the way. It looked like the backhand by the Gangrene player, I believe, was Nick Cassetta, as he was going towards the wraparound, and then the sweeping in Wolverine defenseman gets his stick there. So it looked like as Cassetta was shooting the backhand, that the Wolverine defenseman's stick gets that puck, it rides up his stick, goes all the way up his shoulder, and I think that's why it bounces in for the goal.
Yeah, that's just a heartbreaking goal right there. But you know what? That's hockey.
And speaking as a defenseman, too, I mean, that's your nightmare. You're trying to bail out, as you said, you're trying to bail out your goalie, and you're doing everything you can, maybe to knock the puck off of the stick, and then the absolute worst thing happens. It caroms off of you.
It's the worst that could happen.
It's what keeps defensemen up at night.
2D. That's a Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge reference there for you kids, you kiddies. Look it up. But do so after you finish watching this video, because, again, there is still plenty of tournament to be played, and that is going to be made manifest here with 2.5 minutes left. Hard shot by the Wolverines, looking to get any kind of offense happen, and Nick Trevis, who has not had to do much in this game so far, takes one off the mask to keep it a shutout. Moving forward, that 2 minutes left. Gangrene going back, and Hodgner is able to make the stop. Finally, with just about 1.5 minutes left, hard shot from the point and a score! Goal by Reardon to put Gangrene up 5-0. Moving forward, 40 seconds left, and Wolverine's just looking for pride at this point, and a good shot by Sean Coles. That was actually a snipe. It's a shame that it had to happen down 5 goals so late in the game, but that was a very pretty goal by Sean Coles to basically finish off this game. That's going to be your final, 5-1, and Gangrene is going to move on to the B Gold Division Finals, but not before we get our other semifinal game between Blue Agave and the Renegades. James, ask me about Blue Agave.
What do you know about Blue Agave?
Well, funny you should ask, and I thank you. I thank you for that question, because it gives me an opportunity to tell you, James, and you, dear viewer, that Blue Agave features some people that we've seen previously in this tournament. It features, from the C Division's Blue Moon, it features Kevin Frost, not in goal this time. He is a shooter in this particular game. It features Colleen Murphy and Whitley Nichols. Murphy and Nichols, you may remember, were featured members of Team USA in the World Championships in Košice just a little while ago. So they are silver medalists that are coming home to play in the Summer Shootout. So Kevin plays in great company, and that game is about to start right here and right now. And we start 30 seconds into the game in the Renegade zone with a hard shot and a good stop by Brad Ford to kick off the action here. But Ford is not done, as a few seconds later, Agave wins the faceoff, comes in shot, and another stop by Brad Ford. Mr. Johnny on the spot. But the Renegades get some offense of their own as they come in hard, and DiGiacomo is able to stand up in amidst a scrum in front of his crease. But that is short-lived, because we go back to the Renegade zone where Brad Ford is keeping the Renegades in this thing, as Blue Agave does not let up. Shot after shot after shot. And Ford just stands up and stays in there, making it look easy.
Brad Ford. Joey with a shot and a save by Ford.
Good save indeed. Action back in the other end with 8 minutes left as DiGiacomo is tested. Almost gets caught handcuffed, but manages to glove down the tricky little shot. Then a few seconds later, Renegades take control, come into the zone, come around, snipe by Derek Hale just inside the post to put the Renegades up 1-0 in this game. So Blue Agave has to go back to work, coming back in, coming around the net, shoot. Good shoulder stop by Brad Ford. And another hard shot from the point, blocked. But possession regained by Blue Agave. Another shot from the point, that is a save. And manages to kick it out. And a rush in the other direction now by the Renegades. Great little deke around, hard shot, good stop by DiGiacomo. But Agave cannot clear. Hard pass from across the point to an open Danny Miller. Shoot, score! Snipe in the top corner to put the Renegades up 2-0.
99-30. To Joey.
So here come Blue Agave, takes a wrister, nice save. They go around the net one more time. Pass in front, slapper, and that one goes wide. Try and clear, cannot do it. Doorstep shot, and it is shut tight.
Great cross in the crease there by Ford to keep it a 2-goal game. But Agave knows they are down 2 and don't have a lot of time left, so they go back on the offense. Hard shot, looks like a screen, but a stop. Unable to stuff it home. Coming back into the zone now, good block by the Renegades defenseman, but Agave regains control. Good shot in front, score! To make it a 1-goal game. Catherine Murphy, the sister of Colleen Murphy. I guess her sister showed her a thing or two to make it a 1-goal game here with just about 4 minutes left. And jumping ahead now with just under 3, Agave making a stand, taking a shot. Brad Ford caught off balance, but just able to reach back the pad and stop the puck from tying up this game. Time ticking down now with less than 2. Renegades breaking in, and DiGiacomo standing up way in front of the crease between the hash marks, and he says, no thank you, you shall not pass. Less than 90 left now, and a penalty, a trip. Blue Agave player was tripped. And maybe a questionable trip here because I don't know, it looked like the stick did get in the feet, but it's also possible that she stepped on the stick. But regardless, it was called as a penalty, and so it will result in a penalty shot. And the opportunity with exactly 1 minute to go, Whitley Nichols, member of Team USA, has this game on her stick with a chance to tie it up. Comes in slow, deke, 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 takes the shot, and Ford will not bite. Stands up and keeps this a 1-goal game with less than a minute to play. Moving ahead now, 10 seconds left. Agave has an empty net. They go on the offense. Shot saved by Brad Ford. Renegades manage to take it around the net and clear it. And that is going to be a win. A W by the Renegades over Blue Agave to head to the finals. The B Gold Division Finals. What a tournament, James.
It's been really exciting from the get-go.
Absolutely.
And what the RSHL is all about. One of the things that we admire so much, obviously Kevin Frost is a great friend of the podcast, but really the tournaments that they put together are so exciting, and Daniel Wilson does such an excellent job with recording and doing the play-by-play, as you've heard on Hit the Deck's past, as Mr. Wilson has graced us with his presence as well. So altogether, it's, as we said before, this is what deck hockey is all about: sportsmanship, great play in a great arena,
True,
and well produced. and well played. These players are really great, and as Kevin has invited us to join in on the fun, I'm not playing against any of these people.
Hey, James, you never know. You got to believe. You got to believe, James.
I wouldn't even ref.
Although you might keep score. You might be a scorekeeper based on your recent experience. But nevertheless, we move on to the B Gold Division Final, which will feature Gangrene against the Renegades. This one is for all the taquitos, James. I don't know if the winner gets taquitos, but, you know, why not? Regardless, we jumped into the action about 30 seconds into the game. Gangrene coming in hard, deking around, and, oh, just off the corner post. Does not go home. Moving on about 90 seconds, Renegades break in with a hard shot. Good blocker save by Trevis to keep them in it.
And here comes a dump and chase deep into the zone. They go into the corner, does Gangrene. They come around with it again, takes a quick shot, and they stuff it home to open up the scoring. 1-0 Nick Cassetta.
That was a fantastic goal, James. The actual space that Cassetta had there to stuff it home as the goalie was coming across was negligible, and he found it. That is incredible puck control and an incredible goal to open up the scoring here.
Absolutely, yeah. Really great vision by Cassetta, and it looked like he went through the 5-hole as well. So, and no knock on Ford by any chance either, because he was doing what he was supposed to. And Cassetta, I think, probably did that on purpose because it looked like he was going to go on the other side, decided to stay on that side, and stuffed it home really nicely.
Nick Cassetta is a goal scorer's goal scorer. I think he has something like 12 goals in the tournament at this point. Maybe more. I don't know. We didn't get to see the qualifying round. So, you know, good for you, Nick Cassetta. But continuing on now with 8.5 left to play. Shot save by Trevis. And a great show of sportsmanship there by the Renegade player. Good job, goalie. That's what he was saying. Good job, well met.
And this is the final, too, as you were saying, for the whole thing, the B Gold. So that's nice to see.
Of course, he could have been saying, don't get too used to that. I'll get you next time, buddy.
Possibly.
You never know. But nevertheless, the game continues.
Gangrene controls, passes it up on the boards. Nice cross-ice pass, takes the shot, and rips it home to make it 2-0, and that was Mr. Nick Cassetta again.
On the one-timer, Nick Cassetta with the only scoring so far in this final game.
Very nice play by Gangrene from the get-go. Beautiful, crisp passing, and wonderful finish by Nick Cassetta.
Absolutely, and Nick Cassetta is not done. He wants that hat trick. 7 minutes left. Comes to him, shoot, just misses the net. Cannot put it home. Does not get the hat trick. No hat for you. So says the, I don't know, deck Nazi that is Brad Ford. I don't want to cast aspersions. Maybe I shouldn't. But Brad Ford stands up and says, no, you shall not pass. Nick Cassetta looking for another one here. Comes around the Renegades player. Nifty little flip off the post. Cannot convert. Poor Nick Cassetta. No hat trick for that man.
So the Renegades now, nice defensive move by Gangrene to get it out of there. They do manage to get a shot off anyway, do the Renegades.
And Trevis able to stand up. And again, with 2 minutes left, Renegades with the last gaps. Good shot, dives across, reels it in, does Trevis with his stick. And that is the story of this game, because that is going to do it. Your B Gold Division champions with a 2-0 win is Gangrene. And your MVP for the B Gold Division is the goalie, Jim Trevis. Now, James, there has been some controversy over whether it should have gone to Trevis or Cassetta. It could have gone either way. Cassetta had like 15 goals over the course of the tournament, but Trevis had like 5 shutouts or whatever. So, you know, I guess it comes out in the wash. You can only give it to one guy. You only have one trophy. Jim Trevis gets that MVP. And that is going to do it for the 2019 RSHL Summer Shootout Tournament. But James, even though the tournament is done, we are not, because right now we have an interview lined up for your viewing pleasure with the man who put this whole thing together. Mr. Kevin Frost is on the line. Kevin, it's great to see you. Welcome to Hit the Deck in the inaugural episode of Tape DEK.
Excellent. Good to see you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on.
It is good to see you, and it's good for our listeners to be able to finally see you, as we have many times. That's a nice sharp banner you got in the background, I have to say.
Yes, it's the RSHL banner. We're in the official RSHL offices, as you can see.
Nice, yes.
So this is where all the big decisions are made. Where stats are put in and schedules are made. So it's a very exciting place.
Where the magic happens. Fantastic. So I did have a couple of questions for you regarding this tournament that we just talked about. So first off, tell us a little bit about the RSHL Summer Shootout. How did that, just real quick, if our listeners are not familiar with the history, real quick, how did it come about?
Sure. About 3 years ago, there was another gentleman who set up a tournament at that Greensboro Sportsplex, and it wanted to do a ball hockey tournament. So I helped them out. We got a bunch of the teams together from different places, working from the Ironman tournament that we've done. And then, so that was a pretty good success. We like the facility, the Greensboro Sportsplex. We like the small rink. It's pretty fun to do 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 in that small rink. So it's certainly something different. And we're always trying to do something a little bit different, something out of the norm. So 2 years ago, we decided to host it our own as an RSHL event. And we got a significant amount of teams and everything. You can see all those videos on our YouTube channel. And then we continued on and did it this year. So it was a really good success last year for RSHL, and we carried it over and did it this year.
Now, Kevin, in previous years, when you've done the Summer Shootout, and in fact, when you've done the Ironmans, which you can also check out on the RSHL YouTube channel, what has happened is that you've had A, B, and C divisions. Now, this year, you had two, I would say, kind of subdivisions of B and C, but there was no A division, which struck me, I will have to say, as a bit odd. So can you tell us how that came about?
It was just simply lack of teams. We had one or two A division teams from the RSHL that were lined up and ready to go. And unfortunately, it was just bad timing for a couple of the out of town teams to play. Usually Atlanta comes up. We've had Pittsburgh and Philadelphia come down and play as well in last year's tournament. And just the weekend didn't work for any of those guys, and we couldn't put together enough A-division teams. So unfortunately, we had to drop it.
Now, that is unfortunate. Now, even though there wasn't an A division this year, there were kind of double-sized B and C divisions. There was a gold and a silver for each division. So how did that work?
I tend to find that if you're putting a team together, a lot of teams will see another team that's going to be in the B division. So say, we have RSHL and one team puts together a really solid team. Well, other players are a little less reluctant to play on a team if they think they can't beat that other RSHL team. So what we try to do now, it's been working for the last couple tournaments, is we'll actually split the division. So if we have 8 or more teams, we'll do top 4, and the seeding becomes the top, and then bottom 4 become the lower division. And I really think that helps with the morale, and because a lot of times you'll play a tournament and you'll be getting beat, and you'll end up down at the bottom in the 8 seed, and the morale's gone. You're basically thinking like, I have no way of beating this first seed or 8 teams, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's really important that we've been splitting it up, making 2 winners out of each division, and it really levels the playing field, I think, because the top teams always rise and the bottom teams will be down low. So it's certainly worked out, and I find it makes a much better tournament. A lot more people are happy. A lot more people are fighting for whatever spot it may be, and there's always some sort of middle teams that have to end up being on the top of the bottom. So it's pretty exciting. I think it makes for a much more exciting tournament. I think it balances it out a little bit more. So if one team happens to be a little bit better than anticipated, Well, now they're in a division that they belong. If one team doesn't happen to bring some better players that they used to, well, now they're still in the bottom division, and they still have a chance to win. So that's what it's all about.
It gives more people the opportunity to come away with the trophy. So that's, it's bragging rights. It's extra bragging rights. So
absolutely. Yeah, and I always say I want every team to win. It's just you can't, I'm rooting for every team that's out there. I love every team that's out there. So you want everybody to come and you want them to win, but unfortunately we got to battle it out and see who the winner is. So if you get two of them, that's better than one win.
Now, James, I know you had some questions regarding discipline, and I will I will echo that. So there is one point where there was two referees who seemed to disagree over a call. What happened is that there was a boarding call, and then there was subsequently another penalty that was assessed as an unsportsmanlike for yapping at the referee. But it looked like in discussions between the referees, one of them seemingly overruled the other, and the unsportsmanlike was thrown out. So can you tell me about that situation? Is there a quote-unquote senior official in any given game? And how do those disputes get resolved?
That can happen. So that's why there's two referees, right? You have to come up with a decision on what's best. And both of the referees can, much like a judge and jury, you give them your view, they give them your view, and then you guys make a decision on that. So for the tournaments, there's not necessarily a senior referee where someone has the authority over the other. It's simply just the two referees working it out between each other and figuring out the correct call.
And so in terms of discipline, James didn't want to ask this, but I'm going to ask it because, that's the kind of guy I am. Generally speaking, do you err on the side of awarding a penalty for physical play as opposed to letting it go so as to prevent replicating that kind of physical play in the future?
Certainly, you have to make sure that nobody crosses the line. So physical play is allowed in tournaments. It's a tournament. People are playing a lot heavier than they would at a regular game. It's really the intent, I guess. If you're physical with someone to gain possession of the ball, or are you physical with someone to hurt them or put them out of the play? You know what I mean? So that's certainly a difference there. So it depends. It depends. So if you have someone that you've seen make over the line physical plays a few times, then it's time to start giving them penalties so they don't do it again.
All right, fair enough. And so while we're on the subject of discipline, as I said, this is something that happened, and in fact, this is the guy that I designated as that guy for the tournament, as in, don't be that guy. My question to you, Kevin, if he had been able to overpower his teammate and been that third man in, so to speak, what kind of discipline could he have faced in that case? What's the policy on something like that for the RSHL?
More than likely, he would have been thrown out of the game if he would have made it all the way down to the area where the commotion was happening and caused some sort of disturbance. He would have been thrown out of the game. Being the tournament, he either would have got thrown out of the game or thrown out of the whole tournament. So I have no problem throwing people out of the tournament if they're not going to behave the way they should. So we're all adults.
Are you the one that makes that determination if it comes to it, or is it the referee on the court?
It would certainly be the referees, and then if they had any question, they can consult with me. Whether or not I was playing in that particular game would probably have an impact on that. And then my wife, who also runs the tournament, certainly has a pretty large say on it. So if I have to defer something, if there's something that happens during my game or something to that effect, I just defer it to my wife, and she can make a decision.
All right. Well, that's actually a great segue, because you did play in some of the games in this tournament. You played in more than one game in this tournament, and that's not just because your team advanced. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Kevin Frost, you played on both the Blue Moon and Blue Agave teams, which were in two separate divisions. And my question to you, Mr. Kevin Frost, is what gives? You played with some world-class talent from Team USA and Košice on those teams. So how did it come about that you wound up playing in two different divisions with many of the same people?
The three ladies that play in the RSHL and are world-class players asked me to play. They asked me to play on their B Division team, and I happily obliged as a defenseman. And luckily, we had enough referees this time that I was able to play in the lower division. Usually I have to ref them. Luckily, I won't be getting any referee questions from you guys today, calling out my either poor refereeing or questionable decisions. So I was happy about that. But no, I mean, obviously, I prefer to play instead of refereeing. So we really struggled this tournament for goalies. There was a ton of goalies that were just not available, and we had a couple drop out last minute. So they asked me to play goalie in the lower division. I told them they were crazy, but they thought that I should. So yes, I was a runner in B Division and played goalie in C Division for their team. They wanted to set up a separate C team. They had another female friend who wanted to try out ball hockey and play the tournament. And so they set up a team and asked me to play goalie. So I did.
Is it a case where you're allowed to join teams in two separate divisions as long as it's not exactly the same team?
Generally speaking, we have groups that want to bring 2 to 3 teams. We even had ESSHL brought 2 teams in the same division. So a lot of the times, obviously different players, but their groups travel, and for some people, this might be the Ironman or this summer shootout might be the only tournaments that they attend. So they have a lot of interest. They have a lot of people that want to play. So we don't have a problem with bringing 2 teams, and sometimes there's some overlap on there. It may be a captain that wants to play in B and C. It may be a goalie that needs to play in B and C. So I don't think we have that issue with A, but mostly B and C. But there's not really an issue with it. Obviously, we make sure that everybody that is playing in both divisions is on the same level. So, you have guys that are like a C+ player or like a B- player. Well, that they can play in both because they're not going to dominate C or dominate B, whatever the case may be. So there's certainly some of that. And depending on how many teams we have, this year specifically, I felt that the weekend wasn't the best for everybody. So a lot of people kind of had to or asked and wanted to play in 2 divisions, so we let them so we could get enough teams to play. But everything's on the up and up with that. I make sure every captain on every team is aware of it, so everybody knows. If especially C, I'm more protective over C division than I am B division. B division it'll kind of like weed itself out. It's pretty good as it is, and same with A division. You can just bring whoever you want for A division because it's our top division. But C division, I try to make sure that it's pretty equal. And this year, we could tell just by the people that were playing that it was going to be a lot higher skill level than in previous. So we let a few more people slide, like the ladies and some of the guys from ESSHL played in a second team. So the skill level was there for all across the board. So
all right. And full disclosure, Kevin, I do have to tell you, I gave you a little bit of a razzing for your performance in goal, at least in the beginning.
Please do.
But I will say that you did redeem yourself, and by the end of the game, you were making some really solid saves and playing very well. So I do want to give you credit where it's due, and it's all in good fun.
Those 2 goals haunted me for a long time. I was very upset with myself. I'd played very well through the round robin, and of course, none of that was filmed. I believe I had a couple shutouts and just 1 goal against the entire time. So I was feeling pretty good about myself going into the playoffs. I let my team down a little bit, letting those easy goals go in the beginning there. Again, it's taken me a long time to get over those, but sure. That's part of the playing hockey, part of playing goalie too.
I would argue that's part of what makes a good goalie, but that's just one man's opinion. One last thing about the overall tournament, and that is, how are the MVPs determined? Who makes those determinations on who gets MVP for each division?
Sure, our referees and then our scorekeepers will make a decision. So our scorekeepers keeping the stats on everybody. as we're playing. The referees are obviously watching all the games, so they're the ones that have the best idea of who they feel is the MVPs. And then, generally speaking, whoever wins gets the MVP. Usually you don't see another, kind of like the Conn Smythe. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's given out to the other team if they had great playoffs or whatever the case is. But majority of the time, it's the team who wins ends up getting some sort of MVP. So.
All right. But in terms of the individual player that gets it, that's determined by the referees and the scorekeepers. Okay. I will say that there was one that Daniel Wilson disagreed with.
Yes.
But and that was because the player that he felt should have gotten it has scored like 15 goals over the course of the tournament or something, which is impressive. But I happen to agree, and I'm partial because I am a goalie, but I happen to agree that the goalie that gave up like 1 goal for the entire tournament deservingly got it. So
correct.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I remember watching the video, and he obviously thought that Nick Cassetta should have won, and it was definitely Jim who won. And I agree too. It was one of those where I know everybody went back and forth like 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. And we could have easily we should have given out 2 MVPs. It was that close. That would have settled it. But we only had 1 prize for the MVP. Unfortunately.
Right, of course. You would have had to, have
split
another
it in
made.
Correct.
Solomon style, right? Yeah. And finally, speaking of goalies and scorers, the last question that I have for you about the tournament is actually something different that you did this year, and it's a 2-part question. You decided to include a shootout round for each division this year, for the B and for the C. So first off, I guess why? Why was that done?
It's been something that's been in the back of my mind for a while, and as these ideas come to me, I just jot them down, and whether or not we get to them at some point, we do. So this was something that was been back in my mind for a while, and I had it written down. And because we didn't have an A division this time, we had some more time that we could fill. Usually, with all the teams that we have, we're exactly at the time that we have allotted. So we had some extra time this year. So given it was actually, it's called the Summer Shootout, I thought, why not have an actual shootout competition, have a little bit of fun with it. So after each division, we would have whoever wanted to. It was completely voluntarily. Anybody who wanted to would take a couple rounds on the goalie, and we would see who would last the longest.
Mm-hmm. And how did you determine which goalie would stand in for each division?
Actually, I just asked him. So I honestly did not think that many goalies would have any interest in it. So I went and asked the couple goalies that I thought would really be great and a top goalie in their division, and that way it would be the hardest on the shooters. So they begrudgingly agreed. I don't think any goalie wants to stand there and take 100 shots and see who's the best, but they agreed. And come to find out later, I had a lot of goalies come up to me and ask me if they could do it, or they could do it next time if we had it. So I really didn't think many goalies would want to do it, and I was impressed to see that there were a lot of goalies that wanted to do it. So we may have to expand it if we get some more time at another.
Well, you will find that at the end of the day, we are a vain breed. So, unfortunately, But, I guess the last question I have about the shootout is how you determine the winner. So, the way that it worked is that in order for a shooter to win, they would have to be the last person to score a goal. So, that's a little confusing. So, it's basically you go through your first round of shooters, and however many shooters score move on to the next round, and correct. Then same, weed it down until it's just 1. And if even if that shooter in the case of, I think, the B division this year, even if a shooter has already scored twice, they basically go to a 3rd round, and if they fail to score on that 3rd round, then they still don't win. The goalie is the
goalie would win. Correct.
The trophy. So how was that rule kind of figured out? How did you determine the rules for the shootout here?
I bounced the rules off a couple people to make sure that we had all our I's dotted and T's crossed, because you know, even when you're writing rules, you want to make sure, hey, any situation that would come up, you want to make sure you have a rule for. So we thought it'd be best to do it this way. And if there was the hypothetical situation where there was like, I don't know, let's say 4 shooters and 3 of them didn't score and 1 of them did, there should still be another round for that goalie. So you would just have a head-to-head. So we wanted to whittle it down to where there was basically a head-to-head, and then that would be the final round. And just because the shooter didn't score, it shouldn't be that nobody won. Somebody should win, and if the goalie is good enough to save all of them, then he should be the winner. So that's how we did it.
All right, thanks.
Before we let you go, if there was a moment that stood out in your head in this final tournament, was there a favorite moment of the Summer Shootout 2019 for you personally, either for yourself or overall?
The best moment was the whole thing. I mean, we love having these tournaments, and a lot of these guys and girls and players come back for Ironman or the Summer Shootout, and it honestly feels like family reunions. Like every time everybody shows up, you're grateful to see them. It's awesome to see some new faces, some old faces, and everyone's got their matching T-shirts on, so it's almost like a legit family reunion. And then we go out and we battle it out on the rink, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. But we know that everyone will be back next year or next tournament. So overall, I think that's part of it. I think the shootout part was one of my favorite parts too. I felt like at the end of all that battling for the win, everybody was on the rink at the same time. Everybody was having fun with it. Everyone was joking around. It was like all that battling from the tournament was behind you, and now you're just as that family having fun doing a little fun shootout thing. So I think that probably stuck out the most, was like how much fun everybody had in the shootout after. It was like, again, it was like handshakes are done. You know what I mean? Like all the animosity is gone, and you're back to just being friends and doing something fun like the shootout. So that really stuck out to me.
All right, great. Well, thanks, Kevin. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. Congratulations on a great tournament, and we'll see you again soon on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. You are welcome back on Hit the Deck anytime. And thank you, dear viewer. We would welcome you to come back and check out all of our content. We are Hit the Deck. Our podcast is Hit the Deck. Comes out every Friday. You can check that out on hitthedeck.com and any streaming service just about that you get your podcast. If you want to talk to us, you can comment below this video. We would love to hear your feedback. Do you want more of these episodes? Do you want your league to be featured on Tape DEK? Do you want us to break down one of your games? We'd love to do it. Just reach out to us, comment below, or email us at hitthedeck@gmail.com and get at us. We are Hit the Deck Pod on Twitter, Hit the Deck on Instagram and Facebook. And really, we want to hear from you. We want to be able to do this again. And if you want it, we will give it to you. So just tell us what you want, what you really, really want. So that being the case, dear viewer, for now, for this edition of Tape DEK, we are going to say fare thee well, and we would urge you always to remember it's deck hockey. Don't be that guy. Thanks, everybody!
Gangin. No.
It's okay.
Gangin.
Gangin! Gangin, get go, go!
Goal!
Gangin, get go, go! Go! I'm playing the invisible accordion. Go!